Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you the top Visual Studio Code extensions that I use every day to make my coding life easier. Hope this will help you to improve and enhance your programming environment in VS Code. And without further delay, let's get started. So Tab 9 is a Visual Studio Code extension that provides us useful code snippets. It uses artificial intelligence to provide you with more accurate code suggestions based on your project, and actually it refers your past repositories in order to make sure that you're getting more like a very accurate code suggestions. And it supports multiple programming languages, and there's a paid version of this extension as well, and that has more cool features, but of course there's a free version, and you can actually use it in your Visual Studio Code. uh, Next we have Project Manager. Project Manager is a Visual Studio Code extension that helps you to easily access to your projects no matter where they are located. So we don't have to miss our important projects anymore, and we don't have to go through different directories and directories and open our Visual Studio Code from there. We actually can use this Project Manager extension in order to easily access to our projects, and we can actually organize our projects with tags, and we can add virtual workspaces support, and improves sidebar usability, and it supports full remote development support as well. So if you use these, it will be really easy in order to organize our projects and easily access to them. Next we have Live Server. Live Server is a Visual Studio Code extension that allows you to render your HTML pages real time. Once you install the extension, it shows a little button bottom of the Visual Studio Code, and if you have your HTML file in your working directory, whenever you press the button, the page will be re-rendered in your default browser. And the most fascinating fact is that whenever you have done a change in your code, you don't have to reload the page again, because the extension automatically does that for you. Pretty cool, huh? So next we have Bracket Pair Colorizer. Bracket Pair Colorizer is a pretty simple extension that allows you to see the curly braces, brackets, and square brackets in a same color. The extension makes the start bracket and the closing bracket are colorized in the same color, so that you can actually identify them very easily. And when you have a lot of code lines in your working file, this will obviously comes in handy, and you should give it a try as well. Next we have GitLens. GitLens is a very important tool when you are working with a team. So Git Lens supercharges the Git capabilities built into Visual Studio Code. It helps you to visualize code authorship at a glance, and Git blame and annotations, and the code lens. So if you use Git Lens, it will be really easy for you to work as a team. And if you are a developer, you are actually using some kind of a version controlling tool such as GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, or whatever the version controlling tool that you are using. Git Lens comes in handy, so you should give it a try as well. Next we have live share. So if you debug or troubleshoot or present your code with your teammates using AnyDesk or TeamViewer, or maybe via Zoom meeting or maybe a Google meeting, so the hardships that we face, right? So but guess what, now you don't need to worry about it at all, because live share extension got your back. With a single button click, you can ask your teammate to review your code, edit your code, and both of you can troubleshoot the code together if you want. That means if you use live share code extension, basically your teammate can directly edit your code virtually. Trust me guys, this is a masterpiece. You should definitely give it a try. Next we have CSS Speak. CSS Speak is a very simple VS Code extension that allows you to pick your CSS classes from your HTML code. Let's say when you are developing a web page using pure CSS and pure HTML, or maybe you are developing some kind of web application using React.js, Vue.js, or whatever the JavaScript framework that you are using. Sometimes we need to view the CSS properties of a one specific class name. So normally what we are doing is we just copy the class name, and we move to the CSS file and we search it until we find it, right? So but thanks to CSS Speak, we don't actually have to go through that pain again, because if we press the control button and hover the cursor over to the class name, it will pop up the corresponding CSS properties related to that specific class name. Next we have auto rename tag. Auto renaming tag is another simple VS Code extension that helps you when you rename a tag. Normally when we rename a HTML element or a JSX element, first we rename the opening tag and then we change the closing tag manually. If your block of code is too long, that is very time consuming, because first you have to change the start tag, then you have to change the closing tag manually. But what if something magically takes care of your corresponding renaming tag? What if when you change your JSX element and the corresponding tag is automatically get changed? Next we have Thunder Client. Thunder Client is a Postman but much lighter and which is already built into VS Code. So when we developed a REST API or some kind of a backend application, most of us use Postman to check the APIs. So guess what? Now you don't have to leave the VS Code to do it because Thunder Client has almost all the features that Postman gives us, and you can test your APIs without even leaving VS Code. It allows you to make requests, save responses, and also it allows you to keep collections of your APIs. If you are a backend developer or a full stack developer, you should definitely give this a try. Our next Visual Studio Code extension is Polacode. When we need to get a screenshot of our code, we can do it using Polacode. And the screenshots that you are taking from Polacode are not dull and ugly looking. It is very attractive and it is very simple, and you can control the way that your code snippet should look like. And choose Polacode, select the code snippet, and simply press the button to save it as a PNG file in your local computer. Next we have Better Commands. Better Commands is another cool VS Code extension that allows you to add commands to your project in an attractive way. It is very simple and easy to use. You should give it a try. Besides, what bad can cause from adding a little color to your code commands, right? As our next Visual Studio Code extension, we have Prettier. Prettier is one of the most famous Visual Studio Code extensions when it comes to code formatting tools. It enforces a consistent style by parsing your code and reprinting it with its own rules that take the maximum line length into account, wrapping the code when it is necessary. And if you have enabled format on save options in Prettier settings, then you don't have to worry about the formatting your code ever again, because once you are hit the save, Prettier will automatically format the code for you. Next we have a very simple but a very useful extension called Template String Converter. When we need to convert a string to a template literal based code snippet, Template String Converter automatically does the work for you. You just need to install the extension and get start coding. We have ES7 React Redux code snippet as our next Visual Studio Code extension. If you are working with JavaScript or TypeScript or some kind of a JavaScript framework, I highly recommend you to use it because it has a ton of predefined code snippets that we can use. By only providing shortcut keywords, we can generate a whole code of templates. You should definitely give it a try. And last but not least, we have highlight matching tag extension, and that extension highlights matching opening and closing tags. Optionally, it also shows the path to tag in the status bar. Even though Visual Studio Code has some basic tag matching, it's just that basic. This extension will try to match tags anywhere, from tag attributes, inside of strings, any files, while also providing extensive styling options to customize how tags are highlighted.